before we started this interview and I was getting ready, I was thinking to myself, and um, I was like, you know what? I'm getting tired of talking to this guy about his platinum music releases. I'm tired of his award wins, his
Yeah.
sellout concerts. Um, his nominations, which was what we're gonna talk about too. Um, like, man, is there anything else we can talk about? Because you're just so damn successful, it's ridiculous.
I don't feel that way for some reason. I don't know, but thank you. That's very kind. Yeah, it's listen, I don't know what to say. I mean, I I don't feel like that guy. I feel like we're just talking about that guy and he lives over there someplace or something. I don't know. But always a pleasure to get to chit chat with you, especially when there's stuff going on. So so thanks for having me on is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, brother, this is home for you, man, and
Yeah,
we go way back. I can say that now. We go way back.
we really do.
Congratulations on this latest nomination. For folks who don't know, what are you nominated for?
I'm nominated for a Juno for my record Campfire Troubadour, which is extra special. I'll tell you why, because I recorded it right here where I'm sitting in my crappy basement studio. And it was kind of a passion project for me. It was, I did it at the height of our third or fourth or fifth lockdown. I can't remember. One of the ones that really just sucker punched me after Christmas last year. And I thought to myself, I got to do something creative or I'm going to go crazy. And I called up my buddy, Jeff Copeland down in Nashville. And I said, it's time. Is there a way that we could do an acoustic record distanced like this? And he said, yep, I'll send you a Zoom link. And we started and we wrote a ton and, picked a bunch of songs and cut them. I cut my tracks right down here and he cut his tracks in his home studio and mixed and mastered them. And now we have a Juno nomination for that. So a lot of fun.
The pandemic, as bad as things were and things like that, and thank God we're slowly coming out of this,
Yes.
for artists, it has been a creative time because, and can you talk a little bit about this? Because a lot of artists like yourself have come up with unusual ways to connect with people, had
Yeah.
unusual ways of recording music,
Mm.
working with other people while recording music, and then literally turning your home into studios where people have or their closet is their sound booth,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
things like that. What was that like for you to as you come up with this stuff? Because man,
Yeah.
you had to.
Well, it took me a long time to feel like being creative. In March 2020, when the world shut down and we didn't know what was going on or how long we were going to be in this, and we didn't know what the world was going to look like. And I remember, because I landed home in Canada the first day you had to isolate, and I isolated for 14 days on that crappy futon behind me. Didn't kiss my wife, didn't kiss my kids. It was a super drag. And so it took me a long time to kind of feel like being creative. But once I sort of got into it, it just snowballed for me. So I would say probably by fall of 2020, I was starting to pick my guitar up a bit and play a little bit and write a little bit. And then the Zoom writes started to happen. And see, what's interesting is, I've been doing what we called Skype writes for years now. But there was a little bit of a culture in Nashville, like, hey man, you want to write with us? You got to come here. So, the odd guy I would meet would say, yeah, I'll Skype write with you, that kind of thing. And then when the pandemic happened, we can't put people in the same room. All of a sudden, everybody was forced to embrace this technology. And it's a blessing, it's like making, lemonade out of lemons, because it's not perfect. We can't play music together. Like right now, you and I could not sing together because there's a little bit of a lag, like a telephone call. Okay.
Yes.
But if you come prepared to a write, you can still get a song written. What that means is like have an idea ready to go. So we oftentimes in Nashville, if no one has an idea, we kind of go fishing a little bit. Everyone's, start jamming a little bit. You say a couple of things, next thing you're on to a song, can't do that on Zoom. So you got to approach it a little bit different. But what a wonderful technology to have at our disposal. And then check this out. So just earlier this year, I cut some new material with a producer named Derek Rattan, songwriter. You know Derek.
Yep.
And we cut it using this wonderful software called Audio Movers. So what Audio Movers is, it allowed me to connect my studio here. And like, when I say studio, this is a room that I have a microphone and a computer in, you know what I mean? And some foam on the wall so that it's dead, and that's about it. But I was able to connect my studio with the studio in Nashville, okay? Because I couldn't cross the border. Borders were closed. And I could listen to the band in Nashville, cut my song on my headphones and out of my speakers, and I could talk to them through my microphone. They could hear me. They could talk back to me. So like we're talking now, I could have a conversation with the band and I could hear the song come to life. We did 3 songs.
Crazy.
Yeah, and then we reversed the process the following day when I cut vocals. So now we just connected my studio to the studio in Nashville, so Derek and his engineer could monitor or listen to what I was doing and offer production advice as if I was singing in a booth in the studio. Now, is it perfect? No, not perfect, but it allowed us to continue to be creative in a time where we couldn't put 2 people in the same room, So what a wonderful thing to come out of this. And, people keep asking me like, would you do it again like that? Would you do it again? I'll tell you what I would do. I would 100% listen to the band cut in the comfort of my own home, for sure. And I can go upstairs and make a coffee and a sandwich and come back down and then still go pick up the kids at 3 o'clock. Awesome. But singing for me was a little bit more challenging, because when I sing down here for my demos, I'm not only, singing on the demo, but I've got one eye on the computer to make sure it's recording and one eye on my levels to make sure I'm not peaking it out. So I'm almost like engineering at the same time that I'm singing. And when I'm singing a master, I want to concentrate 100% on my singing, and that's it. So I would cut listening to the band on Audio Movers from Canada, but then I would want to fly to Nashville and cut my song in a studio. So, but not, there was one of these silver linings to the pandemic,
I dig it, man, and it works real well because hey, you're once again you're a Juno Award nominee. Does it get old for you, man, when you hear this stuff?
It doesn't get old at all, and for me, like just what we talked about, and this is the God's honest truth, like for me the nomination is the win, like that to have all the music that was released in all the genres, especially country, in that year, to be handpicked, one of 5 records that gets this prestigious honor of being a Juno nominee. To me, it never gets old. What a wonderful thing to be recognized by your peers in that way, and it's not important whether I walk away with a statue or not. It's just important that I'm invited to the party. That's the most important part for me.
Especially in Toronto, man, because this is going to be big where they're doing this and everything else too. But what I find though for this year, I think this is very, very special. And the reason why is because, again, as we just talked about, so many artists out there, it was challenging for them to make this music and to be able to still connect with fans lyrically, musically, and things like that. To me, that's where the accomplishment is.
Well, and that's what's special about Campfire Troubadour was that, it was just between me and my fans, and me and myself, really, because I wasn't writing from a point of view like, well, I got to get my song on the radio. We didn't put out a single to radio from this record. This was purely about creativity for the sake of being creative, and getting some new music out for my fans to listen to, during a pandemic. And, one of the loopholes that we had, I say it as if I did something illegal, right, was that we have a fire pit in our backyard. And so we could have, in those dire moments, we could have 5 people distanced. The neighbors could come over and have a beer from 6 feet away, and we'd have the fire in between. And, the odd time the guitars would come out, because in normal times, the guitars are out at a campfire, And in this case, it's like, okay, we could sing some songs and hang out. And that's where I kind of got the idea, like, let's make this a campfire record. And the best part for me, Rudy, is that, like in my music, especially, we do these things called gang vocals. It's like, all the silly, kind of like drunken singing in the background and the yelling and the joking and stuff that you hear. We would do that typically on the day that we write the song. So when we demo the song, whoever the co-writer is, we would stand around the mic and be like, hey, and like layer it up and make it sound like a bar room, or make it sound like a party, or make it sound like, like Def Leppard, like whatever it is. But couldn't do that. So here I am, I'm going, well, either I'm going to layer myself 16 times singing like a drunk guy, or I go, you know what? I'm going to get Amanda. So, I could hear her. She's upstairs right now. I'd be like, Amanda, can you come down and sing with me? She's like, what? I'm like, come on and sing gang vocals. She's like, are you serious? I'm like, throw on some headphones. Let's go. And so here I am in my homemade studio with my homemade record with my wife singing on it. I felt like Paul McCartney in Scotland or something, like, recording McCartney or McCartney too, so it was really, it's really an honor and very exciting for us,
Wait. So she's on the album. Okay. Didn't we talk about this a few years ago when I was saying that you got to record her or something?
Yeah, because and it just had by coincidence, like it just out of necessity. It was like, you got to come down and sing gang vocals with me, and now you're on it. So she's credited in the Campfire Troubadour Tabernacle Choir or whatever we called them in the credits, because her and my buddy Jordan, I got to sing some gang vocals on it too. So it's very DIY passion project, a lot of fun.
I can't wait till the kids are on. It's gonna happen. Right? It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Okay. Any plans yet for? Of course, you're gonna be here in Toronto as a nominee for Junos. Have they said anything yet to you about maybe any appearances? Meeting fans or any performances? Nothing yet.
You mean to do with the Junos?
Yes.
Nothing yet, but I mean, that stuff will come. Hopefully we're able to do some of that stuff. Like, for instance, at these London shows I'm about to fly over and do, still no meet and greets, still no signing, no nothing like that. So hopefully, by May, outdoors, we should be able to do a few things. That would be ideal. And I'll wait for the call on that, because I love to do fan fest and all that stuff. I get a real kick out of doing all that stuff. So hopefully. And then in terms of tour dates around Toronto, I mean, there's talk every week, about when we're going to do it, or if it's getting pushed, or if it's getting, pulled up in time or pushed back, or where we're going to go and how the routing's going to, we've been talking about this tour for 2 years now. So I'm at that point where I'm like, guys, just tell me where I got to go and when, and I will be there to sing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so excited to get out on the road and do my thing again. So that can't come soon enough.
And we should let people know, we're not talking London, Ontario. We're talking London, England.
London, England. Yeah, there's a big festival over there. It's called C2C. And it's, I got to play it. In fact, I was in a pub in London in 2020 when the world shut down. So 2 years to the day, I'm going to play the show I wasn't able to play in London, England last time. Yeah, we had done Berlin and Amsterdam. Oh, someone's trying to call me. My apologies. It was my mom.
Mom's come first, man.
Hang on, Rudy. Mom. No. It's so we got to play Amsterdam, Berlin, and we were about to play London and then fly to Australia and do a run down there, and then fly to the States, do a run, and then all across Canada. Of course, none of it was to be. So hopefully we're able to follow through on some of that stuff. And it starts with London. Tomorrow I'm flying.
Okay, now, how do you feel about your first flight? Is this the first flight internationally?
No, well, internationally, I would say yes, unless you count America. So I was just out in California shooting music videos for my next 2 singles. So, that in and of itself was an experience, like just kind of like, mustering the courage, to travel again in the world.
Yeah.
Because we've got Doug in the band, man. Like, Doug is high risk. He has diabetes, and we need to protect Dougie at all costs.
Gotta protect Dougie.
You know what I mean? So, we were really like, how's this gonna work out? And I'll tell you what, it really did. It worked out great, and we got 2 great videos out of it. And the new single Whiskey Does is out, and we'll have a video up for that sometime very soon.
Okay, fantastic. So when you get back, man, let's talk about that. But right now, I just want to concentrate, of course, with the Juno nominations. Congratulations on that, man. Much deserved too. Can't wait to see you, because I know I'm going to see you here in Toronto. Because as we speak, we're talking 6 weeks away, but man, the time flies.
Is it only 6 weeks? Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
A lifetime away, but because you think, well, May, okay. That's a while away, but it's really not that far. Yeah.
No, it's not, man. Look, let's put it this way. Start your Christmas shopping, because it's going to be coming up like that too. Brother, look, have a safe flight.
Will do.
Have a great time. Looking forward to seeing you here in Toronto. Again, congratulations on the nomination.
Thanks, man. We'll see you real soon. Thanks for having me on.